For many children living in America in the 1960s and 1970s, their first taste of adventure came upon the wheels of a bicycle. The bike of choice? The Schwinn Stingray. The name Schwinn has been associated with high-quality bikes since 1895. It started in Chicago with two partners, Ignaz Schwinn and Adolf Arnold. Schwinn had moved from Germany, where he apprenticed as a machinist and worked on early bicycles of the time. After he moved, he worked for a couple of bicycle companies before meeting Arnold. Shortly after meeting, they agreed to set up their own bicycle factory, with Schwinn running the business and Arnold as his financial backer. In order to get retailers excited in their new company, Schwinn held a contest to create their new name. 4 separate people had submitted the name World. Schwinn liked the name's strength, longevity, and prestige. He awarded the 4 winners a cash prize of $100. World Bicycles became the official name for the early Schwinn bicycles. This is the time when America went crazy for bicycles. With safer bikes being made for the public, millions of Americans began buying bicycles for their convenience, leisure, and freedom of movement. However, in the early 1900s, with the rise of cars, bicycle sales became stagnant. Schwinn remained aggressive, buying out many smaller companies, and eventually buying out his partner, Adolf Arnold. In 1911, Schwinn went into the motorcycle business. Schwinn created the Excelsior Henderson motorcycle brand, which inspired the creation of one of his bicycle designs, the motorbike, developed in 1920. His son Frank Schwinn joined the family business in the early 1920s, and the family focused mainly on their motorcycles until the stock market crash in 1929, which is when they refocused back to bicycles. In 1930, Schwinn created a new department of bicycle and motorcycle engineers to improve quality and appearance. Schwinn became the standard for innovation in the industry, developing mudguards, the cycle lock, the 4-wheel brake, and the cantilever frame. They sealed the quality in with the first appearance of the Schwinn Quality Seal. Then in 1931, at the age of 71, Schwinn retired. Although he maintained the title of president and was an important part of many decisions, he began to give his son Frank the reins of the business. Ignaz Schwinn died in 1948 at the age of 88 years old, leaving the business to the Schwinn family. In 1949, the Schwinn Black Phantom was introduced. Other icons of the era included the Schwinn Panther, Hollywood, and Starlet. The bikes were built with chrome fenders, white wall tires, head and tail lights, a deluxe saddle, and much more. Flashy and fun, these bikes became icons of the 1950s in America. Schwinn introduced the original Stingray in 1963 after the company realized kids in California had been customizing their bikes to look like motorcycles. These kids were fitting their own bikes with 20-inch wheels, elongated seats, and hanger handlebars. It didn't take long for Schwinn to develop a similar style. Al Fritz, Schwinn's director of research and development, recommended the Stingray as a way to replicate the style California kids were looking for. It featured high-rise handlebars, a banana seat, a coaster brake on the large back wheel, and racing slick tires. and it was incredibly easy to pop a wheelie. The connection of the bike's name with the new Corvette at the time helped solidify the connection between the bicycle and glorified automobiles of the 60s. The Stingray quickly became the best-selling bike in Schwinn's history. In 1968, Schwinn introduced what is likely the most memorable edition of the Stingray line, the Schwinn Crate. What really made the bike stand out was the unique stick shift mounted on the top tube, right between the seat and the handlebars. This bike was flashy and was dressed up with a bright front fork, ape hanger bars which really gave it that chopper feel, and chrome fenders on both ends. With a 20-inch slick back tire and a 16-inch front wheel, they truly looked like a bicycle version of a chopper motorcycle. Originally, the crates consisted of 3 models: the red apple crate, the yellow lemon peeler, and the orange crate. Between 1969 and 1970, green and white crate versions made their way onto the scene. There was now the green pea picker and the white cotton picker. The white crate incorporated the revolutionary Schwinn Stingray design with gears. In 1971, Schwinn introduced the Gray Ghost. The crates were the ultimate expression of Schwinn's iconic Stingray line. 60 years later, and still the bike stands for childhood expression and freedom. Schwinn had a few setbacks through the 1970s and 1980s. For one, they were late to the game when it came to mountain bikes, believing it was a short-lived fad. Then, BMX became big, and they were also late to capitalize on it, thinking it was a dangerous sport. Schwinn bicycles aren't quite the same today, and there's a good reason for that. The company went bankrupt in 1992, but because the name and reputation was so well regarded, the brand and name were purchased by investors. In an effort to make the bikes more profitable, production was moved entirely to China. So that may be why the bikes aren't quite as special as they used to be. Do you remember yours from childhood? Stingrays seem to be the bike everyone wanted, and continued to be an iconic part of our past.